Amadou Onana, who's a real exciting young midfield prospect. But apparently we've got competition from West Ham, Arsenal and Forest. Can't say I've seen much of him. Damon, what about yourself?
Just a couple of clips. That's it. No, not majorly enough to make, to think, oh yeah, we'll go get him. But nah, it's one of them, innit? I think you just got to just wait and see what he's like. I think if West Ham get him, I think he might go up a price in like 3-4 years. So I can't see us getting him. I think that's just maybe his agent speaking to get West Ham more involved, I think.
Well, Jay, the Athletic have said that West Ham have seen a £25 million bid rejected for him. He is only 20. Can you see us spending more than
I don't know much about him, to be honest, lad, but it sounds like if West Ham have had a bid put in rejected and then he's linked with Liverpool, it sounds like it's sort of a play to make West Ham pay what the club wants. And I imagine that's what it is, to be honest. I don't know too much about him, to be honest, all that, whether I can say he was like a good player or not. Just want to watch it, I imagine, but it's the first I've heard of it, so I imagine it is just his agent trying to get him a move.
I mean, it does look as though he plays in more of a defensive midfielder role, Damon. At some point, we probably will bring competition in for Fabinho. Do you think it has got a chance at maybe being this Onana? Or do you think it'll pretty much be, like you've already said, agent talk? But with us being our name being thrown in, there's probably the biggest team's name there. Do you think it's just maybe a play from his agent to maybe get a bigger contract at Lille?
That's what it probably is. Or like Jay said, a bigger offer from West Ham and a bigger contract offer for West Ham as well. Because if they know big clubs coming for him, if that's what they're thinking, they're thinking we're gonna have to top that. We're gonna have to top that with big money because you don't want to get in a battle with a big club because at the end of the day you're normally going to lose. So they're gonna have to throw the money at it at West Ham. So that could be it. I do think we are in for a midfielder like that at some point because. I mean, Tchouaméni went for him, didn't we, at start? And he's more like a Fabinho role than what a Bellingham would be, if that makes sense. I'm surprised we haven't been linked with Sangare, to be honest. Was it My Night today? I linked with him.
Yeah.
He's definitely one that we should be looking at more. So.
Yeah, Jay played 8 times in the Champions League this year. In their group, they had Chelsea. He has got Champions League experience, 32 games in League One. Belgian international, only 20. Liverpool, it's a perfect Liverpool signing, really, isn't it?
He just took all the boxes in terms of that. If you can get players with 2021 who've got actual Champions League experience, then it's always a plus. And I imagine he'd have been there when they won the league. I know, obviously, the French league isn't the strongest, but that makes it a little bit more impressive that Lille did win it because they shouldn't be winning it, but still managed to. So it is an area we need to start looking at eventually because the drop off, obviously, if Fabinho's there on the side, is quite big. I do think Enzo can play the 6, but obviously he's getting on now as well. So it is an area we definitely need to start looking at for probably next summer, to be honest. I don't think it's priority now, but probably want to keep an eye on Defo.
I mean, looking at his stats, Damon, he's ranking in the 90th percentile for most of his tackles and tackles won and stuff. And he's only ever dribbled past less than once a game, 0.78 times a game. It does feel like he is probably the perfect holding midfielder, really. His pressure stats and stuff aren't the best, but he probably shouldn't be in that position. Do you think it's maybe someone who we might let him get a move before he gets his big move? Maybe goes to West Ham and learns his trade a little further. I mean, he is only 20. It makes me feel sick looking at his date of birth, 2001, to be honest.
It does, doesn't it? I hate that,
It is a tricky one, isn't it? Because you can't really say, well, it's just the league earned because at the end of the day, we got Fabinho from there. So, you've got to look at it as a whole, haven't you? You got to trust these scouts have done the work and they did the work on Fabinho, and Fabinho came within a day. Man United wanted him, Arsenal wanted him, and we just snooped him up in like a day, and then look what he's turned out to be. I mean, I think obviously we knew Fabinho. We don't know this guy, but we didn't expect Fabinho to be like this. Not the best DM in the world.
Yeah.
So he's got to trust what the scouts are doing. If he's the guy that they bring in, they bring him in. We'll see what he's do.
One thing that stand out for me when looking at his stats here, Jay, is he's won 63% of his aerial duels in every game he played last year. It ranks him in the top 87% of players in the world in that position. And he wins on average 2.2 tackles per game, ranking him in the 92nd percentile of best players in the world in his position. He sounds very exciting. I consider I haven't seen anything on him. He looks exciting.
Same, mate. Like I say, I haven't seen much of him, but all the things you're saying, obviously, tick boxes. He's 20. I always think if you're not holding midfielder, if you're good in the air and big, it's a massive advantage to have. I know, obviously, you think Kante being one of the best in the world in that position, and he's not tall, but I think that's where one of Fabinho's strengths comes in. He's aerially dominant 90% of the time, and obviously, if he's not, he's got them two at the back who generally tidy everything up if he doesn't. But the fact he's a Belgian international as well, I think, makes it a bit more exciting. Belgium have just got a wealth of talent everywhere, and have done for about 10 years. So I think if you're 20, you're a Belgian international with Champions League experience, and you mention his tackle and stats and stuff, he sounds like an exciting player. So yeah, one we should definitely keep an eye on, and who knows what'll happen.
Peter makes a good point here, Damon. We half need to get him in now before he goes to maybe another English side like West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and we pay 70 mil. I mean, you could hope that potentially Forest got him, he had a good season, and then he went down, so you got him on a cut price deal. But it is probably one of them, with the stats he's presenting, it looks as though it probably is one of them players who, wherever he goes next, they're going to sell him on for a substantial amount of profit.
That's what it is, isn't it? You got to take a chance on those sort of players, because at the end of the day, if someone like West Ham does play, they're playing at a good level at West Ham. They're playing in the Premier League, they're playing in Europe, so it's still gonna show across Europe, what he can do. At West Ham is, it's still got the wow factor there at West Ham. It's better than playing at Fulham, where you're not really seen as much. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Fulham, but West Ham are out there a bit more than what Fulham are, so it's still got that sort of stage to really perform on. So yeah, I do think his money would go up. I think if it is for Liverpool to go get him, I think it would be to get him now.